Fish, like thinking for everybody else, anything? All right, he's reset, so it doesn't.
We'll have it on the thing. Yeah. Not one tiny spring.
It will not. It keeps giving me an error. Network error. No network.
You can? Did anybody else can? Everyone else?
Connected. I have a
Everybody
strong.
downloaded this, but.
Like your personality.
Strong, yeah.
I don't
Your
remember.
signals like
I
your
think-
Musk.
Yes,
Strong.
yes, very, was like that.
You're
You're bringing it, no, you're doing good, like it's carrying it on.
That's all.
So, Jessica? I tried both. I tried 110 spring lowercase, 110 spring uppercase.
Okay, no space.
No space.
Okay, and Somerset Public, it's the network.
Yes, it was the Somerset Public. Oh, wait. I tried that one. I think I was doing the village news.
Support is on.
Yeah.
We need a 14-year-old clearly.
I know, right? I should be. Yeah, see, I keep getting this network connection error, failed to connect to network, Somerset Public.
Reboot.
You have to
Turn it off and turn it back on. Power cord.
Day 6, I don't know.
Yeah, we're ready to roll, everybody.
Good.
All right, Caleb Garn calling the village board committee of the whole meeting together on Monday, April 13th, 2026 at 6 P.M. In attendance,
Trustee Crone,
Chris Real,
Just the third.
Caleb Garn,
Jana Stewart, Chris Steuben.
and on virtual is President.
Donnie Kern.
Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
The United States of America.
to the republic for which it stands, nation, under God,
God.
All right. I'll open up to public comment, 2 minutes per person, 14 minutes per topic. Any public comment in the hall this evening? Any public comment online?
No, that's just at the end on the on.
Hearing none, we will close public comment. And move into business items. A1, discussion recommendation, treasurer report, building inspector report. Everyone had a chance to review.
I did have a couple questions on this. One, it says total permits for 2025 was 143 and total permits was 106 for 2006. Is that correct?
So the report says.
I'm assuming that's correct, but I have no information to cause a question.
But the only reason I asked the question is the 2026 permits. Oh, never mind. I see it. My bad. My question's answered.
Got it. Any other discussion, questions? Otherwise, I will
think we just recommend to receive that for any future questions. And it's good to receive that building permit. Should we be forwarding this, or does a building permit get sent over to planning commission at all for their review?
No, typically not. But it doesn't mean that we can't start.
I liked receiving it, a lot of good information.
Oh, okay.
Do we typically share the names on there? We're gonna put that into public record. Is that public record?
It is public record.
Got it.
So is there a motion to send this to planning or?
Do we have to?
No, I'll just do it.
Yeah, I think it's just a recommendation to send to them, but I don't think we need to take any action towards that.
Sure. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to A2, employee review process.
And there is nothing in the packet regarding that.
Yeah.
I think this was on the agenda originally for personnel and finance. And I think we were looking to get some goals established and sit down and meet. Should we just remind the department heads to set over their goals to the personnel and finance within the next 2 weeks so we can get it on the schedule for April?
If that's a motion, I second it.
Was that a motion, Danny?
It's a recommendation to them, yes. So within basically recommend to email, remind for 2 personal goals within 2 weeks to personnel, and follow up for meetings with the personnel meetings prior to the next board meeting. I guess it would be in May.
Point of clarification to Personnel and Finance Committee.
Correct.
Is what you mean?
Right.
Got it. Good. Any other discussion? Let's move on to A3, employee concern policy.
Who put the red text in?
The red came from the gentleman that does the handbook. I'm spacing on his name. Heat.
The handbook fellows.
Yeah.
I just want to know who wrote this, because I was like, it helps to have that contact.
Yeah.
So this was actually drafted as a working document to be discussed by the entire board on my recommendation or my request from Paul. And Paul had went to a couple of different policies that he had reviewed, and we're just kind of bringing this out as kind of like a see something, say something type of deal. And I understand, and they're worried about addressing matters with the passing over and addressing matters with the president or the attorney, but I don't think that that's necessarily what we're intending here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to ensure that there is a good policy in place to accurately, fairly, and without any threat of retaliation, be able to address concerns that are within the workplace.
It seems to me that we need to make some determination around the findings of the red line in here. Is that something we should try to hash out now, or send us the finance and personnel to hash out?
What's this committee's pleasure. If they wanted it to go to finance and personnel, we gladly can do that.
I think it reads fine and it could just move straight to board approval next week. Does anyone disagree with what it's saying?
I don't
we
disagree with what it's saying. I feel like he's inferring that we should make some consideration based on, in his opinion.
Seems like they don't align. So if we're gonna put this policy forward, we should, if we're gonna put it forth with no changes, it seems we should at least
Address,
change the discrepancies between the handbook and what's presented here.
And one of the main issues that he's referring to is the fact that the employee has the option of going to several different places with their complaint. It never addresses a situation where the employee's complaint is specifically with the supervisor themselves.
Oh, okay.
And so there's sometimes we need some kind of mechanism for that alternate process. But we need to have some language about that.
Mhm.
I'm perfectly fine with, kicking this back even to Paul to kind of address some of those concerns and review it, or, if, Jenna, if you want to take a shot at looking at this and coming up with a potential recommendation to the, personnel and finance, I'd be happy and welcome that.
Yeah, I'll take a look at, and can I contact him if I have questions about his redlining?
Pete,
Or is
I
he,
guess it should probably go through staff.
okay,
And just, to touch base with us, not that you can't, but
okay,
I don't have his contact information,
all right,
so.
I'll take a look at it and, then I guess I probably should take it to the personnel and finance. My analysis of the red plus the black, then
Yes,
and then we move out of that committee.
makes sense to me.
I agree.
Wonderful.
That would just save us like $1,000.
Well, these two policies did cost the village taxpayer $1,600
Wow.
for Paul to draft them. So,
For
yeah.
him to draft and then for him to comment also, is that or,
Two separate things. This is Pete,
okay,
who handles the handbook,
okay,
and Paul drafted these.
okay, so these are out of the handbook with Paul's analysis, right?
No, I don't think Paul reviewed the handbook.
Oh,
He just created these two policies.
At $1,600, is that what you just said?
Yes.
So no pre-existing policies, he drafted new ones. He redlined. As well.
okay, what?
And Pete, and compared to our current handbook,
Yep,
How much did Pete's time cost?
0.
And
Sounds
who
like
is Pete?
the
you
handbook.
wrote
guy.
that in.
What guy? He's the handbook guy.
Like a contract or a? Okay, there's a Pete and a Paul, I gotta keep this straight.
Hello.
very different people.
Calls their village attorney.
Yeah,
Do we need to make a recommendation? to
I
that?
think there is a recommendation.
Would second that recommendation then?
Sure. I don't think we're gonna vote based on no motion.
Alright, good.
All right, any other discussion on A3? Hearing none, we'll move to A4. Board member access policy.
Now we gotta know how much did this one cost?
Well, the two of them. cost.
Okay, all right, okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Well, it's not that bad then.
Yep.
And this was, as a result of some of the stuff that happened.
Well, we all had access to the Village Hall. And that access was withdrawn pending previous situations that occurred last year.
Typically, the president and the two chairs, two chairs, had key fobs. We do have limited resources on key fobs. Doesn't mean that we can't get more.
I like to have some kind of procedure in place. I don't think this is necessarily bad, and I think having key fobs for those individuals would make sense. But again, I think there was some abuses of the previous president.
Well, he never had one. He never had it.
And
And
so,
I
and
think
this village property, and then it talks about restricted areas. So do we have a definition of property and restricted areas?
I don't.
that's only if it's requested, though, isn't it?
Anything
Police department has
behind the
a,
door,
all their stuff.
anything that's behind the door would more or less be restricted, like they should be in Bob's office or your office or anywhere there's voting records.
Or really
Or
being in the
anywhere there's-
township.
Yeah, it says property not generally open to the public or a restricted area. So those are the two distinctions in the concept of village property.
Mhm. The restricted area would be just past the doors during normal business hours, right?
I would imagine it's the vault and your election stuff has to be sealed.
Which it is.
I guess one other thing, I guess to Donnie's point outside of this is I don't think I've ever had to come down here. And no one was here to not let me in or guide me to where I needed to be without having an appointment or anything like that. So I've never come into an instance as a chair where I've needed a fob to get in here. And for me personally, I would rather, that's one more thing I have a chance to lose, and I don't really need the extra responsibility to or the liability of having that at all. Like there's no benefit to having one if I'm not. Why would I need to access any of this area when any of you are right here? Like that's just shady. I don't.
Other than,
Not shady, but I don't see the benefit. Yeah, it's shady.
you know,
Some
some
people
people
would.
decide to use it as to open it up for a meeting. And that's been pretty unusual, that somebody's not here first. The president should have it though. It's kind of different.
I think the only question that comes into mind for me is the liability side. If rogue activity occurred, what liability does that generate for the village, which is ultimately the taxpayer? I guess that's the only question I have, but I think measures can be put in to safeguard that.
Well, and I think that's kind of what this policy does, is it puts a measure in place to absolutely do what you're saying, is to safeguard any access to the deal. After hours access to any village facility or property not generally open to the public requires coordination with the village clerk for security and supervision.
Sure.
The board members shall direct information requests to the village clerk to ensure consistent delivery and avoid disruption of daily artifications according to Article 2. And that's where you send a written request if you have a problem or you need to be in after hours for something. And I'll just give for example, is prior to us getting the little kiosk out there to put the binders in, I would have to come in after hours to get my packet, because I would be out on, grab it on the weekend and leave. Like this weekend when I stopped in on Sunday, I thought there would be one there and it wasn't, but normally that would be in my binder inside the building, and I would just come in, grab it, and go about my business. Everything is on security there. I just think there's zero policy in place right now, and this kind of puts something worthwhile of discussing it, rather than, unless we're just going to say, nope, you're not allowed to be in after hours, and then how would you address these other issues?
The biggest thing is before that, you could always come in here. I mean, those three could get in here. You know, besides until this happens or things happen. So I mean,
Bob's, yeah, just weren't renewed once the heads were renewed at the last one.
so I mean, I can see we're done, you know, I mean if the heads can get in here, I don't know if that would be an issue.
What's the recommendation?
I don't see any problem with it.
Move it to the board agenda?
My recommendation would be to move this to the board, full board.
All right.
Are we recommending adoption, or is it just recommending to the full board for debate then?
Well, we can't vote on it, can we? Because it's just discussion and recommendation.
Well, you could, well, you can recommend it to go to the board, and if the, you know, with the recommendation for approval, and the board would just approve that, then
I
under a
believe that's
consent
what's
agenda.
up.
Okay,
Yeah, it can be part of the consent agenda.
Nothing else needed, just.
Any further discussion on A4? Go to A5, bond schedule court cost increase.
Is it from 38 to 48? Is that what that one is?
I don't have any information. I don't have, well,
Max 113 here.
oh, you're looking at this?
Yes, is that the one where the cost increase have gone up? Is this part of that? Okay.
Mhm.
And is that the state telling us the cost has gone up, do you know?
Well, that's the fees, but it's not the actual,
Oh, that's the
Fine.
fee. I got it.
so it's like a processing fee just to get, you know, for anything, and then the fines have increased. The recommendation here is that the fines be increased.
I'll be municipal court fines,
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
yeah.
and this was recommended by the municipal court for adoption?
Yeah, where did this come from?
Clerk of court, or courts.
So the clerk is recommending that, or is recommending the adjustment that we're seeing here?
Yes.
I have no
Nothing
issue.
I have done.
I have no issues with recommending that this be put to the full board under consent agenda.
I agree.
I agree.
I have two things for comment on 11-2-8-9-8, 30 and 11-2-1-1. They have unlawful us of telephone and unlawful of
Oh,
Me use.
laser pointers.
Use.
Yeah,
Good catch. And no peeing in public, apparently.
still there. Still a crime.
So, on 121, there is a misspelling for conditional use. Well, we're talking about little things.
Oh,
May I suggest under my motion then or my recommendation to the board is full referral or back to the clerk for any typos or items of you know, simplicity adjustment nature.
Don't move.
Because I did find one more, yeah, 13-150B4.
Yep.
Residents. Yeah, it's missing the E.
I think they spelled drunk paraphernalia on team.
So quite a few typos in spelling.
Yeah, they spelled paraphernalia with an F.
They did that.
They did. It's like I'm pretty.
that FPH problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
It's like how I spell phone, F-O-N-E.
That would definitely, yeah.
All right, so recommendation with typos fixed. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Let's move on to A6, Village Hall summer hours. I believe this is in keeping with what we normally do.
I believe it should move to the consent agenda for next week's meeting.
I'll second that.
Yeah,
Any other discussion? A6.
But I would just say, I have perfectly no problem with that. I've said this before. If it works and we have no complaints or concerns by our residents in that regard, I'm fine with it. If there's a concern that comes up, we'll bring it to the personnel and finance.
Amen. Any more discussion? Let's move on to A7. Discussion recommendation, new trustee onboarding, trustee trainings.
There is a such thing, because I didn't receive any.
Well, that's the whole reason we're having this conversation is because there really needs to be some training that's done for all the trustees and even the new ones like Jana that just got on and the new coming Dave Wallner. I remember my training was very minimal. Is there something that the League of Municipality puts on at their that we might be able to either set a budget for or something like that? Andrea, I'm going to ask you to chime in on that. Do we have any kind of monies or anything like that we could do for training?
There is money in the village board budget for training. They used to have an in-person new officials workshop, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Brandon attended that.
I attended one
yeah.
You did one online.
online.
Yep. Okay.
No,
I
Bob
think
and I.
during
another one.
COVID, they switched it to online, but we can certainly look into what's available through the League of Wisconsin Municipalities for that.
Is that something that this board is kind of an agreement on, that we start cycling our trustees through training and getting them on board for certain things, especially like grant writing and stuff like that maybe might be worthy if there's something like that, or what kind of grants are out there that we can encourage to look for?
I found it to be helpful.
Oh, that would've been nice.
I went online to look, to look for village training and I came up with the handbook from the village of Weston, which is not a big village. And they've got this handbook, which is 30 some pages long with lots and lots and lots of footnotes, and all of the footnotes relate to a guide to procedure for local government in Wisconsin, handbook for Wisconsin municipal officers. I can give this to whoever wants to. This is really incredibly detailed, basically about Robert's process. It's long, but it does, the footnotes reflect all kinds of documents that have been created by various agencies within the state. So I went and had this copy at the place because my copier wouldn't handle it. But I can give this to you.
Village of what?
The village of Weston. And
Weston is over by Wausau, Wisconsin.
yeah, it's straight east of here. So I'll give you that. I mean, it's very, very dense but it doesn't talk about anything other than complex processes, motion this and motion that. That's probably overkill, but it gives you a lot of good reference points in the notes.
Oh, this is great.
So it's worth looking at.
I'll make a motion that we steal Weston's book.
Slap the label on it.
Just change the front cover and we're good to go.
Let's get rid of it.
And I make Jessica the head of new trustee training.
The one who didn't get any training whatsoever.
Andrea,
Mhm.
I'm looking at the budget right now. There is, dues, fees and training under the 100, but it's only set for like $2,200. But then there's also village board other expenses, which is 6,500. Is that, which one am I supposed to be looking at there? Is it the
The
village
other
board other?
expenses. Mhm.
Okay, so that would be the training, not the training, under, 324?
That other one is for the court specifically.
Got it.
So,
Okay. All
The
right,
only
so
thing I would
there's,
say to any training that we were gonna do is if you sign up for training and you don't go to that training, that you pay for it, because we have had instances in the past where folks have signed up to go for training, we paid for it and they didn't go.
well,
Right.
I think it's important that if we're gonna sign up for training, that the board should know about it, and approve it. If somebody's going to training, you say, hey, I'm looking at this training, maybe you might be able to, double team on something like that and carpool to it and maybe get a little better benefit out of it than just one person going to training ad hoc. I totally agree. If you sign up for training, I think, in my opinion, if you're gonna go for training, it should be brought up to the board and get the board approval.
Any training, or you don't want it over a certain amount, or you wanna put a dollar
Well-
amount to that, so it's like free training or like
Online.
$20, or what you wanna, you don't wanna.
Oh, that's a
wanna
good
leave
point.
it
If it,
as any.
I think it's worthy of discussing the training and bringing it up at the board. I don't know, like I said, your point's taken. If you got a $20 online training, you probably don't need to get that approved by the board, but it's worthy of at least bringing the rest of the board up to speed. Maybe somebody else might be interested in attending that training as well.
Right, someone find one and bring it up and you're the guinea pig. See how it goes.
It'd be nice to know if somebody locates different types of training that are appropriate for our positions, but you might find that there's some of that stuff in the Weston, so.
Well, I know the League of Municipalities puts on a couple different seminars on an annual basis, usually a spring and in the fall. I've never attended one just because I've never been around to attend one, but I did look at some of the stuff, and they had some interesting stuff that they had brought forth in this current one that's coming up, and it has to do with like what grants are available for municipalities, and that might be something where, hey, if you're talking to somebody over there, you might be able to know who to talk to and what we might be able to look at for a grant or something on that lines too.
Is this the one coming up in May? You're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yep. Yes.
I'm going to that one. It's free. Is anybody else available?
Is it in-
We get a second free one.
I was definitely thinking about it.
Okay, I'll forward the information on because the village has a second free.
Yep. That's a lot of good info, that's for
Mhm.
sure.
And that's an in-person one somewhere?
In person, Wisconsin Dells, I think, area.
Yeah. Isn't that a 2-day?
I believe so, yeah.
Is that camping season?
The 6th and 7th of May.
Base?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Alrighty, I think we have a clear recommendation here.
Sounds good.
Move on to public safety discussion recommendation, street use permit, Somerset Lions Club Pea Soup Days. We've got a new parade route.
Oh, jeez. Is it like the old one?
Joel, you want to chime in on this?
Sure, yeah. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can.
Perfect. So at the February Public Safety Committee meeting, we kind of reviewed the street use permit, and I kind of raised my concerns, some overall, we set a meeting with, we tabled this, we set a meeting with the streets department, the fire department and the police department, the Lions Club. So one of my big gripes has been advanced notification and traffic control. And in years past, I was really looking for some advanced signage and message boards, a clearly marked parade route prior to the event going up, some compliant road closure signage at major intersections, and a legitimate, clearly signed detour route. And my other sticking point was I'm kind of looking for some volunteer support, which kind of aligns with expectations and responsibilities with best practices that we've seen from other communities. So, I mean, parades are kind of a high risk, high liability event. And ultimately, I kind of wanted to shore up some intersections and make sure that we are kind of protecting the folks participating and protecting the village. And I feel like we had a really productive meeting with the Lions Club. I think it was late last month, maybe early this month. And as a result of that meeting, I feel like we have a better plan moving forward. We did change the parade route, with obviously collaborating with the Lions Club. And I feel like the new route is a little more condensed. It's about the same mileage. The staging area is going to be used using the Somerset Amphitheater with the permission of the amphitheater. And it's going to go down Spring Street, kind of past Village Park, where Pea Soup Day is held. It's still going to go down Main Street, and it's going to come back up Garfield. And then they can take that route back to Vets Park, where they could possibly use that fenced gated area to head back from Vets Park to the amphitheater. So it condenses the major intersections that we need to control. It condenses some of the side intersections that we need to sign and control. And it's about the same length. It still uses Main Street. And I think we can kind of make it safer and better that way.
Well, that
Nice
covers,
work, Joe.
that covers Saturday. I see there's one on Sunday too.
Yep. So Sunday last year was a little bit of it was a little unorganized. And, I asked Dave about the route because we wanted to shore up where the route is. So he's calling it a kiddie parade. It doesn't sound like it was well attended last year, but it was cute, is how he described it. And Sunday, the one, I don't think we're gonna have to limit parking along that route per se, but we want to make sure that our officers were able to seal the intersections needed to complete it. And I think we can safely do that one. It's going to be significantly shorter. It's children participating in a parade that starts, I believe is it Garfield or Francis? It's in the packet.
Looks like Francis, yeah.
Yeah, so Francis at HUD goes down Francis, comes down Spring Street, and then just scoots back down into Village Park via River Street. So yeah, that's workable. The initial application just had kind of like an X and a circle, and I was like, okay, what does this mean? So I appreciated the clarity, and I kind of envision marking these routes. I haven't talked to Whiplash yet, but getting some signage, almost like the political signs, you know what I mean? Just a little stake you can put in saying parade route Saturday, or kiddie parade Sunday. We'll just say it's the route, just so there's a little advanced notification, people know what the route is. The legitimate parade route, the actual parade route for Saturday, could also say no parking, from 9 a.m. till parade end. So I feel like we just need to up our game a little bit. And I'm asking for some volunteer support from the Lions Club. And I just want to continue to make it better and safer.
I'll recommend that this go to the consent agenda on the village board agenda. Any other discussion?
I'll second that.
All right, let's go on to Joel. Stay with us here because I think you're up on this one probably too.
Sure.
B2, use of golf carts in village streets.
Yeah, I mean, if,
I got nothing in the
Go.
packet on that. I'm just, looking through it. Was there anything put forward on that?
No, it's just being a request from citizens. And I haven't worked on anything. Have you?
No, I've looked into it and there's other communities doing it, but, I haven't really been able to dig into it.
Yeah, I haven't
I've
either.
been working on liquor laws.
Yeah, I'm working on some liquor stuff, so this hasn't really taken a precedent yet for us to work through, what other communities have been doing and how we can maybe adapt to it, so. So I think
So
we
I
just
know-
need more.
I know there's a gentleman in the audience who spoke at our public safety committee in favor of it. I don't know if he wants to address or if he's got time to address or maybe just give a real brief synopsis of what he's looking for.
Yeah, without standing, I can do that.
Yeah, you can.
My concern is, you can see I'm getting worse by the week. Now I'm on oxygen, and I love to take the grandchildren and ride around in Pappy's cart, you know, and what I'm asking for is a way that I can run it legally across Churchill, take them down and get ice cream and go back up. Now you have all your ATVs and everything else riding around here. And yes, they have license and someone had to apply the license to them. I don't have a problem paying for a license if I can just have a way to do it. And I wanna do it legally. I don't wanna try to outrun the police on the. I think I might lose that battle, you know, real quick.
We appreciate that.
So that's all I'm asking, something that can make it legally right. I don't wanna go from up on Western Pines all the way over to school and back. I just wanna be able to come downtown, and there's things down here that we could eat, places to eat and stuff like that. Edgy Eats is one of them, and you got Earth Apple over here that, you know, that run them down on it. I think it'd be nice and something to remember Pappy by. So that's all I'm asking. I do appreciate your time there.
You're good, if I were to make a comment, your slow moving vehicle sign, you could mount that on your golf cart and that qualifies, research it. But I do believe that that's the safety protocol for that or a tractor,
Just like the triangle.
you know?
They did.
Research it yourself, but that's how I get around.
Well, I got lights and turn signals, and of course I got the horn because the kids like the horn. But I got all that, and I plan on putting seatbelts on it, you know, to make sure they're all strapped in and everything. And I just want to have the opportunity that the police are not gonna make a hassle out of this.
Do you have, like, insurance on that if somebody hits you? Do you
Do
know,
I have insurance?
Cart insurance?
so,
Never heard of golf
Like cars.
insurance,
right,
but you got a point.
so if you run into another car, who pays, or if someone hits you, one of your grandkids gets injured, how does? That's my big question on this issue, is to figure out where all those things lie, and
Well, I'd be interested in finding out how to go about getting insurance like that, because if one of them grandkids gets hurt on my account, I'm gonna feel it in here more than anything else.
right.
Probably
Money
need an
can't buy
umbrella
their
policy
lives.
for that.
Mhm.
But tell me how to go about doing that, or who I can talk to about doing that. I'll be more than glad to follow anything you come up with. It's just,
I have one other observation. Absolutely happy. I know you're gonna be good on your golf cart, but
Other people are not.
yeah, I've seen a lot of, in my neighborhood, especially a lot of kids riding around on golf carts and tearing around and stuff like that, which is,
well, in Pappy's golf cart, if you don't have a driver's license, you're not driving that.
there we go. So
That's my rule number one off the bat.
I like that rule. So I'm just comment that I've seen golf carts out already, and most of them are driven by kids. most of the time, but-
And some of the routes you're talking about that you need, there's just a concern about traffic, period, and I think a slow moving vehicle sign is at a minimum. Cause we're talking some heavy traffic on some of those
Right.
routes.
Okay.
And coming right into downtown, I mean, that's, this is sort of the busiest part of the whole community.
What started out, if I cross, I'm in live in Western Pines. If
Mhm.
I cross 35 and get on the other street and then come down one block and I get on that path that they just made.
Right.
Going up Churchill. And it's wide enough for the golf cart. And I know it's supposed to be walking and biking and everything else, but that golf cart would fit on there. Then right down to the Dairy Queen and right back up the same way and just cross 35, one shot.
One cross, yeah.
Sounds like the recommendation is to kick this back to public safety.
Yeah, we need to spend some time on this and make sure that we do our due diligence. I haven't had any time.
What-
You wanna-
What I'm hearing is that we, one, need licensing, some kind of requirement for lights, a slow moving vehicle, and that, there needs to be, an establishment of an age requirement for the use of that. And I just have one more, we had some situation where there was, individuals that were, whipping Cheerios in the St. Anne's, last year, doing damage on that. And that was done by a golf cart. Nobody actually caught them. But if something like that would happen, there needs to be some kind of an understanding that that license can be revoked, and those individuals would not be allowed to utilize that equipment anymore. I don't think we have any kind of anything in this. I was just looking through. I don't think we have anything in our bonds for UTV use or anything like that. I guess I'd have to defer to Chief on that. But with UTVs, if they violate the laws, is there specific ordinances or anything like that we can utilize against them, or withdraw their licensing?
Yeah, in Trax, it's called Badger Trax. It's the software that we use to write tickets. Either it can be a state or municipal ticket, circuit or muni. And DNR is very well regulated, and we can write DNR citations from our software, which has its own bond schedule.
And that's for UTVs?
UTVs, ATV, yep.
But is there anything for golf carts?
So golf cart, if you look up golf cart in our ordinance, I don't think there's any result. And I know there's play vehicles, which is something that we've been using for some of these like dirt bikes that are electric that don't meet the classification of a bike, and don't necessarily meet the classification of a motorcycle. But I think golf carts would also fall under that same play vehicle ordinance that we'd be using right now. I've had the opportunity to look at Prescott, the city of Prescott's ATV, or excuse me, golf cart ordinance. And I feel like that would be a good starting point. I talked to the chief today down there about his experience with it. He said it's not really something that a lot of people participate in. They haven't had a lot of issues. They get a lot of complaints about folks who are unlicensed or look young driving the golf carts. They don't allow it on vehicle or on roadways that are above 30 miles per hour. They don't allow them to drive on paths. It has to be a licensed driver. They are required to have insurance, and they're required to have an inspection annually. So that might be a good starting place to kind of look.
That is where I need to start. I just haven't had time. So,
Sure.
I'm glad that you talked to him, Bill. Thanks.
I'd like to announce I'm starting a golf cart inspection business.
Jeez.
So in Prescott, it falls on the police department for the inspection. Like the ordinance kind of lists the minimum kind of requirements, and it might be seatbelts, headlights, stuff like that. But To me, like when this first came up, like the risk mitigator in me like said this sounds like a bad idea. But you know what I mean? Like it's a policy decision. It's not my decision. I understand that there's people that want other modes of transportation. The question came up was like, well, if the village, you know, passes an ordinance like that, is there some type of, you know, liability that could come back on the village in some way? You know, my only experience with like golf cart crashes have been pretty severe. And we had one juvenile that was airlifted from Apple River Family Campground with major facial reconstructive surgery. It just, I mean, it's, you know, I don't know. I also don't ride motorcycles, but you know, it's all, I feel like the space of UTV, ATV is well regulated by the state. I feel like golf carts is a little bit more restrictive and less popular for a reason. But I feel like we should maybe reach out to Paul on that.
You also need to consider mobility scooters. They need to be, it needs to be able to address that. I mean, I don't know if there are any, I had two, which I sent to another city now, but they're different than golf carts.
That would be covered under the ADA.
I can't think of any situations where we've had issues or if we've ever stopped somebody or have had issues with traffic with somebody on a mobility scooter. Not to say it can come up, but that would be, I guess, worth exploring at the same time.
All right, so kicking that back to Public Safety Committee for review. Any other discussion? Move on to number 3, discussion recommendation, alcohol beverage licensing.
I went through and I wrote up, a policy for, getting alcohol licensing. So this first one she's showing on the screen is, the draft of the policy. The second page is a draft of a website page. And then there's 3 or 4 checklists to go through on all the things that are needed. So there's a retail checklist, an operator licensing checklist, and another one, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Fields.
Is that what it says? Temporary event, okay, so we got a retail one, an operator, which is part-time license, and a temporary event license checklist. So there's 3 checklists with all the details in them on what you need to have to get a license.
I had one question on that.
Yeah,
Up at the beginning, right out of the bat, on that first page,
mhm.
it says that village boards village board approval required. The following license types are required for approval by the village board, but I don't see any reserves in here. Are the Class A's and Class B reserves not required for village board approval?
I'll add that, I think they should be.
It does say the 4th one down, reserve Class B licenses. There's no such thing as a reserve Class A.
Okay, all right.
So we do have that one.
So that is covered, okay.
You feel like this is just ready to go to the board permit?
If anybody has any concerns, let me know now. I can make some updates before, but yeah, it would be nice to move it straight to the board next week to be approved. I do think.
Is there any kind of set requirements like by other municipalities as far as what you know constitutes getting a liquor license other than just the request and paying the fee? Like, is it going to be utilized, you know, 12 months out of the year? Is there a building that needs to be inspected and approved for, you know, after it's been inspected for, you know, providing the liquor? Is that stuff that is outlined in a specific chapter of the law or in this policy? Because,
let me
you know, I mean,
check.
I'm concerned because I know that I heard in the safety committee talking before about the possibility of amending the ordinance so to allow for surrendering your license if you're not operating in the winter or in a certain time frame and utilizing that license somewhere else. I'm worried that if we offer a license and it just sits stagnant for 6 months out of the year, it could deter other potential businesses from moving into the area that would like to have that license.
So my first draft had that in there. My second draft, it got removed. So I'm gonna go back and I'll go back to the other communities that I shared a link to and double check, but that was in there. So let me make sure we get that all added back in there and follow some of those other communities. Yeah, so I will get that added for next week. So that'll be an update.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
I'm fine with recommending this to go to the board with the changes, and we can review them next week at our regular meeting.
Okay.
Good job. Good job.
Super good job.
There's a flow chart in there too, guys. I put together a flow chart in case anybody needed it.
Right for pie chart.
A pie chart
They look
with
like-
actual pie? See, there we go.
Discussion recommendation, Main Street Highway 35 intersection.
Well, I have to say that was a very well-written resolution that was put forth by the staff. I'm assuming that was from Joel.
Yeah, I can speak to it real quick. So, earlier this year, I guess it's been since the Highway 35 Main Street intersection upgrade. I want to say it's, that 2023 project. So coming south on Churchill, they put that red light in when you turn right. And so like you're coming down Churchill, you want to turn right to go towards Circle K or come downtown. And once in a while that you get a green arrow there. The arrow is only triggered when the left turn for east-west on Main Street, if there's somebody there. But so long story short, there's issues. Like people will sit there waiting for a green arrow and they're not going to get it. That's typically people who are unfamiliar with the intersection, who may be from out of town or coming back from up north. And then on the other side of it, we get people that see a green light going straight, like if you're going to Subway, and they see a green light going straight, they don't necessarily acknowledge the red light to go right, and you see them kind of blowing through. Which, so we've had some citizen complaints on it. I went out there one morning between 7:30 and 8:30, so school traffic on a weekday, and there's about 30 violators within 1 hour. And so I had parked one squad with the camera going, and I was mobile in another squad. I was able to stop one of those folks, and there was one citation issued that day. But I tried it again another day, and I couldn't sit there for more than 15 minutes before I had to get out and write another ticket. So it's an issue. I feel like it's kind of a little bit of a flawed design. I've ran into other people who have kind of questioned the intersection. We brought it up at the Public Safety Committee meeting in February, and I think there was kind of a consensus of maybe something could be improved. And so it's a state highway. It's not, we can't as a municipality just go in and change or make changes. So we have to kind of petition the state, Wisconsin DOT, to kind of come in and do a review. And so that's what I created a draft resolution and a draft letter to go to DOT, which is a request for engineering review. And it's in the packet. I don't know if anybody else has any observations or things that they think maybe should be added, or if they think this is not appropriate. but it's kind of a starting place. I did reach out to St. Croix County. They also had a complaint on it. They had one of their folks go out. They observed a lot of violations in a short amount of time. They haven't really escalated it yet. But I feel like this would be the next step.
Well, absent of us doing anything on it, I think it's important that we should at least look at it.
I support this, yeah.
I support this because I get honked at because I stop every time.
I totally agree with the yield sign, but I'm not an engineer. But I also agree with the fact that sitting there waiting for a light and a semi pulls up going eastbound on, from downtown, it completely blocks the light.
Mhm.
Yeah, can't see it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Is this
willing
only in
to, I'm willing
regards to the
to,
light, or is there other areas that we're looking to?
It's just that red line.
Just the light?
Down on our
Okay,
turn.
alright.
It's the right turn, it's the right
The
turn.
other side isn't.
I've got other complaints on that road, but I guess I'll lodge those.
If you're coming from Parent trying to turn left,
I get where it
you're
is.
playing Russian roulette sometimes with the
Yep.
people that are just whipping through, making the right. So, great job, Joel.
Yeah, these are great
Very
documents,
good.
Bill.
Any, what is our recommendation here?
I think is Joel sending these documents to the state of Wisconsin?
So I
Joel?
drafted them. Yeah. So the resolution would be kind of a vote by the board and then authorized by Donnie, President Kern to, and then, I mean, once he signs, Jessica or myself could send them to, the Northwest region for Wisconsin DOT.
I'll send
Is
it
there-
for next week.
just a quick question on this. Is there some kind of a time frame that we could put on that?
Oh,
Right, that-
Well,
There
then-
certainly is. I kind of left it openly vague. I guess we did have one crash there. I kind of mentioned that. I did look at crash data since the new design, and it's hard to really distinguish whether it occurred at the right turn or whether or not it was in the intersection itself. But so I mean, we can certainly, is there a timeline that within the next month, or I don't know how DOT works. So, I mean, certainly we want it addressed within.
I
the
would
next
go to,
6
I would
months.
lean to Bob on that one. Bob, do you think we should put some kind of a time frame on that, or is it something that we should just leave open-ended? I'm worried that if we leave it open-ended, we'll still be dealing with it just like the Churchill signs that are sitting in the Public Works department that still haven't been put up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you wanna put, a response by a month would be appreciated, something like that. Something good to it. At least you're setting a date for them to complete something versus it keep going to the bottom of the pile.
They're completing that stuff.
Yeah, I'll make the adjustment with the date, and then you guys will have a version to review or sign at the next meeting.
Thank you. Very well done. We're very well done.
Thanks.
And I'll make a recommendation, we individually send letters to the DOT and complaints.
Squeaky wheel.
We got to see those complaints or something. We got other stuff that you do.
All right. C, Public Works discussion recommendation, parks and lighted walking trail Village Park.
Yes, I asked to put this on the agenda. We had meeting last year and there was a significant discussion about having a trail and down by the Village Park. And I think we need to start that process this year. And I was hoping that Public Works might entertain, putting forth a very aggressive schedule as to getting some kind of a walking trail in Village Park and lights. I know we can do solar lights for significantly less than putting wire lights down there. And we can also look at whether or not them solar lights would work in them certain areas and try them out. And if it doesn't, we can move them at a minimal cost versus, going through a full engineering. Bob and I had talked about, a walking trail. I think if the rest of the board is up for this kind of recommendation, I might be able to find some money to help pay for the lights and some of the trail work.
The recommendation is send to Public Works expeditiously, right, Donnie?
Johnny, do you have a,
Go ahead.
but I was gonna say, do you have a budget you wanna work with, or what? How big
What?
should we dream?
Bob and I talked, refresh my memory a little bit on it, Bob. I have a lot of things going on. We were thinking, maybe between 5 and 10,000.
Yeah, I think I recall a $10,000 amount.
If you think we can get that trail up to from clear the south side, north side, I should say, all the way up to like where we're at, if we cut a 5-foot trail and put up some lighting there for under 10,000. If we keep it at 10,000, you think that's something we could doable with like some gravel base and 5-foot walking path?
I think it depends on how much the lights cost.
Well, that's why I'm saying with the 10,000, anything over that, we'd have to come back to the board for more approval.
We did have a staff discussion about this, and a couple comments came up that it would make a lot of sense to start a rec trail, which we're talking about. That's just probably gonna be a gravel, non-ADA, which is allowable. Starting from the end of the sidewalk on River Street, going behind the ball fields and then kind of going down behind which is field 2. Want to create, gain some access to that second field because there's terrible access there in the first place. But then also get them down to where Donnie's talking about the trail. And then it just doesn't dead end, like stop. So then
Okay.
you can just connect it all the way to that pedestrian bridge.
So you're saying kind of wrap it around where that road would be potentially in our village park master plan? You're gonna put a trail there more or less, wrap around the
I think
north side of
I
it?
think what we're discussing is all temporary, so, that needs to be also understood that this will probably get relocated with additional planning efforts.
Correct. Yeah, this is not something that, we're gonna pave and expect to be staying there. What we'd like to do is get some kind of a walking path down there and some lighting to see what it actually really looks like and how much use we're gonna get. And then I think from there, we can look at, further thoughts as to what needs to be moved to where, or if it works, it's like, great, let's keep moving with it.
Yeah, I like the idea of that too, because then it puts us down the right path to get the road wrapped around there.
That was terrible, Brandon. I gotta tell you.
Terrible.
I give one of these.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, you got a attaboy on that one.
The one other thing that we need to do, and I know I tried working on this last year with a couple private citizens, is we have to get that freaking guard tower tore down.
That was talked about this morning too.
Are we just gonna do it? What are we
Well,
gonna?
yeah, I think at this point it's ready enough.
People are just
Push on it hard enough.
climbing in it, vandalizing it.
So,
Is it something worthwhile for us to bring forward to the board for approval to start the process and at this next board meeting, or at least have the discussion to approve up to $10,000 to get that going, and then work with the rest of the village, the staff as to the location and yeah, I think we can get some private funds to help offset, maybe even curb that number down even more or keep it lower.
Yeah, I'll make a recommendation to send this to Public Works.
How about the village board?
Do
And we
want
approve the
from this
money.
board?
Go to the board for $10,000 approval and.
Okay.
Bring it back.
Send it to board to get the dollar amount, and then we'll send it back to Public Works to make a according plan to the number we're given.
Any further discussion? Moving on, C2 fee schedule, ball fields.
This looks like something I wrote.
Most of it you did. So,
Got the conversation rolling.
Just kidding.
so through staff and, we did speak with the ball fields, or the ball associations on this too, so they were comfortable with the amounts. We obviously didn't wanna make the amounts too much, but we didn't wanna make them too little where it was end up, we're gonna pay someone $5 an hour and it costs $15 to send an invoice out type of thing.
Yep.
Cause then we're just not gonna do it at all. So the priorities just, they got condensed down to priority 1 through 4. The youth associations, American Legion, Somerset School District, they're just gonna be also, jump down. That was on the wrong one there. Probably 2 Somerset nonprofit groups, 3 is Somerset nonprofits, and then 4 is commercial and for-profit groups. So it's the priority levels. If anyone has anything to add or readjust that, or you don't feel that one belongs somewhere and you want it moved. We've got time to do that.
I think it's all seemed pretty solid with, I know Jessica and you both put decent amount of work into this, so.
The rates are the piece that we just kind of threw it there. It starts with priority 2 through 4 and it goes up, from $20 to the nonprofit, Somerset to $30. For the nonprofits out of town, to $50 for the commercialized, and then we're adding $25 for 2 hours of field light usage. So that'll cover that.
So one question I see here is restrooms and other facilities to be cleaned at least daily by the claimant. Is that the individual that would be running the tournament? Is that what we're saying?
So if they're running the tournament, they clean the bathrooms. There's a little bit
And if,
more
and
ownership.
if they fail to do that,
They get a fine, don't they?
Then we can readjust what we're gonna charge them the following year, or we can say, you can have your tournament somewhere else.
I would suggest that if it's not done by them, we'll do it at a hire cleaners to do it and charge them for it.
I'll do it for $75 an hour.
Are you starting a cleaning business, like whatever business you're starting?
Yeah.
All part inspection.
Yeah.
So say Brent,
No cleaning, I'm good on that, so.
I just have my kids doing it.
I think there should be some kind of a cost associated to cleaning. If they fail to do it, we just hire somebody to come in and do it and charge them. I mean, if it's say $75, if they fail to do it, we assess an additional $75. At least then they know they got to clean it, or they'll be assessed it.
Well, staff just cleans them now. I don't know that we would go out and get a professional cleaning crew to come in, but
Should we see what this year, let's see what this year holds, and if it gets bad, we can
you can
read.
always, we can add that. I'm not saying you can't add this. We still have time to add it before the board meeting. So if you want to.
That's kind of what, yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at, is just that, if the claimant fails to, adhere to cleaning of the facilities and handling the refuge, they'll be assessed an additional $75 or whatever. And that, I think we could probably at least afford to get somebody in there to do it if we had to.
So then the fee is you're gonna add a $75 onto every fee as a deposit, and then we give that deposit back, or you're gonna go back and bill them again?
Make them
I think they're gonna pay it.
No deposits, because deposits are what gets this
Yeah.
office, is it's busy enough. We have someone coming to look for a,
We'll just
deposit.
go after them again.
Do we deposit check? We do that,
We
so,
put a lien on them for next year.
yeah, we could, if they want to turn it the following year, and we've had issues and they don't pay up, you don't have your event cover.
We already have here excessive damage may result in additional fees. You could say excessive damage or failure to properly clean restrooms may result in additional fees.
And identify that amount.
Well, it should be is there a refuge called a refuge? Because, okay, perfect. That's right.
We'll make a recommendation to move that to the board with
That additional.
the addition and any objection to going on consent agenda?
None.
Just my only other comment is that with all of the comments we've had recently about how busy Larry Forest Park is. Maybe there should be some extra onerous on whoever's running the tournament to make sure that people are following the parking rules, or I don't know how to put that in there. Obviously that falls underneath the police, but maybe some type of wording in there, something in regards to the parking situations and
Yeah, maybe carpooling is highly encouraged or something.
anything, something that we could put something. Or do you think that should fall under? They just call the cops. But how do you think we should handle that, Bob?
You know, it's tough because if there's overflow parking, most of those cars are parked. I'll say 90% of them are parked legally on the street. You know, some are parked in front of a fire hydrant, which is not good. Some are parked on the crosswalk. So those are the 10% that. The others, I don't know how you enforce when we have designated parking on the streets that you can enforce and say, get your car out of there. When it's legal to park there. Just and our parking lot isn't big enough. It's just wasn't designed to be big enough, so we do have some overlap, but. There could be, yes, definitely some ways to add more spaces of parking if. Like carpool and, you know, maybe that's what the tournament people need to send out to. The teams that are gonna be there from other communities is just making walk. Well, and that's being talked about because, you know, currently the baseball team does leave and they drive to Larry Forest, park their cars there. And that takes up 15.
Said they couldn't do this anymore.
Well, we need to. I think conversation has been had, so.
Alright.
I like Jenna's wording to put in there to at least assess something if they fail to do that. And I think we'll have to, you know, that could be another conversation for down the road as far as the parking over at Forest and whether or not that can, you know.
Are we properly yellow curved and signed and everything on where not to be? Any other discussion on that one? All right, D3, water tower reconditioning. Are we getting one logo? Two.
Well, so our engineer's estimate, this was from probably a year ago, was $700,000 to $750,000. Our lowest bid out of this was from ONJ Contracting at $460,000. So
They're a reputable contractor?
yes, they did vet them out. They're outfit from Texas that does go to the northern regions in the summertime. But yes,
That's great.
they have familiar working relationships with this company.
Good. Is there any additional cost for the emblem being put on there, or is that factored into there?
It is not.
Oh, so
It's not any extra cost, or it's not factored into this.
Not factored into their, I don't believe it is.
So the additional emblems are 200,000 a piece?
No. Let's go with maybe
Don't
50,000.
tell them how much our first bid was.
He did tell us right when he started
Don't tell
this.
them, though.
Yeah, structure modification, surface repairs, interior one area abrasive blasted coating, exterior area abrasive blasted coating. And containment and then mobilization. So no, the logo I don't believe is included on these bid items.
Is the logo done by these people or someone else?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I don't know if KLM does that in-house or if it's, I don't know.
Okay.
Is there a chance that we could reach out to them and kind of see what that number is going to be, including that, so we can get it approved at the board meeting then?
I think they gave us a range, was it not 40?
Yeah, there was an email. I'll go back there. I'll go back and look at that email she sent me.
Yeah.
And
But
we'll add that.
is that with O&J in coatings? Because if there's a range, then we could just approve it at the board meeting for if you guys are okay with the O&J coatings, we could get that approved along with the,
Give us the number back, sure.
Well,
okay.
Two logos.
Two logos.
Who,
That's good news for our community, definitely.
Great.
if we wait and it gets cheaper.
Great news, Bob.
We're being recorded.
Moving on to C4, asbestos removal Main Street properties.
Looks like we got two bids, huh?
Scroll fence.
So asbestos quote is required if you're going to raise any, residential or just buildings pretty much in general. So that needs to be done before there's any consideration on removing those buildings. Obviously, you can do that work whenever you want to do it, but just as long as you understand that that is a requirement as part of the raise permit with the DNR. But like I said, you've
Better work with either of these guys, you know, preference.
The
the
typical,
lowest one is actually the one that was recommended.
Well, my recommendation would be going with the lowest bidder on that, forward it to the board for recommendation or for approval.
I concur. Any other discussion? Moving on to C5, demolition of Main Street properties. Same story, low bid.
A little bit did,
Feeling.
Well,
come up to $52,540 from Film Contracting out of Henry, Wisconsin.
is there a chance that we might be able to self-perform on some of this stuff and or with our water department being able to knock down some of these costs incurred and maybe send this back out for rebid after we've seen these bids come in? Like I'm saying, as far as maybe hauling some fill in and or curbing stopping the water and sewer and at the curb versus having them do it at the additional costs.
We can,
Because like one of them's got $4,000 for water and sewer termination capped and done. Is that something that we might be able to do so that they wouldn't have to charge that in their bid? Because that would drop the rate, that one down at least another $4,000.
we can. Yep. Take that, we can do that.
Would it make sense for us to review the bidding and maybe resubmit for bids and I'm just talking out loud here. Is that something that we would send out for rebids based on that, or do you want to just go with the low bidder and talk to them about this? I don't know what makes the most, because you got $5,500 for fill hauled in and $3,950 for the water and sewer terminations. I mean, that would knock almost $9,000 off, $9,500.
Well, we'd have a cost. For my question is, can we do it cheaper than they can?
The water and sewer capping and terminations, yes, we can do that. Very inexpensively. I don't know, what the cost savings would be if we were to haul an aggregate. I don't know how receptive bidders would be to rebid this. We have a bidder here tonight, and if the board wants to ask him how he feels about that, they can. I'm not going to ask him because it's not appropriate.
How do you feel about rebidding it?
You should start with a new RFP. And break out what you want to see for the bid. And then over on the reality side is now you've got open basements. If I rip out all the footings and expose everything to, if they're gonna cap and shut off the water, right?
There's gotta be some coordination there.
Now, I'm just pointing that out,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. And then you're gonna turn around and at that point, I kind of look at our relationship as done. Because you're gonna fill it, you're gonna grade it, you're gonna seed it, right?
Sounds like that was what Donnie was asking.
Well, we're having this discussion as a citizen, you know, that I gave all my permits and authority and best bidder practice for where it's all getting hauled to, and it's getting hauled by a licensed business, and that's why I'm here is best bidder practice is see what's shaking down.
If we did the fill, we only have single act, you know, we don't have tandem trucks that they don't hold a lot of material. We're going about 3 yards. 5 illegally, and it's gonna take a while probably for us to do that, so I don't know, it's really hard to gauge that cost, and, you know, it's $5,500 on the one that I'm looking at now, I don't know. Yeah,
How many yards to fill you figure it's gonna take to fill all that in?
I think mine was a lump sum, but I think I was probably around 100.
100 yards to fill. Were any of you using class 5 for that already?
Mixture bill was gonna come out on my site, just because it stays at the actual fill.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. So is that just like black dirt?
No, it would be sandy loam,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
you know, it would be natural to this area.
So then we would be at 100 yards, and then we would be about. I don't know, 50 times we'd have to go, you know, dump. Be a lot.
You know, if I was public works director, I'd take my wages and I'd take the value of my truck, what that's worth plowing, right? Your city streets, you know what that's worth, and I put it against this work. I don't know what you value your trucks at. Per hour,
Still don't get it for this?
No, the guys use their big, our plow trucks.
and then you're gonna have your loader out here, and your little finishing Bobcat, or
How many days of work are you figuring this is?
I think I bid it for a week.
It seems like if we can coordinate the water and sewer capping stuff, that's relatively efficient, but it does not seem efficient for us to try to do the fill, the hauling. So if we can coordinate that modification with the existing bid, is that feasible?
That is for me, it's whatever the discussion is of the board.
So sounds like we might be able to eliminate the water and sewer termination cap from the bid and take the rest of it. Is that what I'm kind of hearing?
Yes.
We're very confident that the termination of the services will be very, very economical for staff to do.
And it would be right.
So,
I've seen some terminations that doom and gloom the next time you do something.
Is this gonna come out of the I guess what budget are we gonna be pulling this out of? We're gonna take this out of
well, the TID doesn't have any money, so,
no, it's gonna be borrowed?
well, are we finding different funding for it in the meantime?
Okay.
The one thing I've seen on field that's not called out on there, that's on the other one, is the fencing. Is the fencing,
Oh, yeah,
temporary
so-
fencing, is that a requirement? That's not on that other one, or?
So there's another great discussion, you know, like on mine, I hired a professional to come in and do it all off. If you're just gonna do snow fence and live with the liability exposure of it, fine, but I mean, you know, to expose the professionalism that I had, like on, you know, Ben's and Archie's there, where it was 6 foot tall, anchored, sandbag. That's what I did. If you just walk around fence posts and orange snow fence, that's considerably thousands less. You know, you know, when you're bidding that stuff, it's your exposure and your liability if you wanna change that, right?
I don't see fencing called out in the field.
The RFP had it.
Is that why?
Well, I would say it was under secure.
See that on the low bid.
It can be achieved, you know, a lot of different ways. I mean, I might have.
Yeah, right,
They might have fencing, they might
I'm
have,
just saying that,
can we put up some,
you know, the great thing about bidders is one guy's thoughts of being professional is different than the next guy being professional, right?
Yep.
And how I looked at it was a downtown full exposure, better get it right. I also had set up a liability camera for that one house.
well, whatever you guys want me to do, then absolutely.
Yeah, launch. Employee yards, not something. Does the low. And it also looks like the low bid doesn't actually have the. Graded properly to match surrounding grade for water drainage, whereas the other. The other ones have the grass and the seeding in there. Which is.
I don't see that in any other ones either.
It looks like. On the one, it calls it out.
Well, it says prep for seed, commercial seed, lay straw erosion blankets.
Right, this one.
See seeding on that. Second,
And
that's green.
and that's where your RFP would change if you're gonna do all that yourself.
Very strong, which one gets.
Wouldn't that be considered site restoration though, or not necessarily?
Well, you.
Site restoration is up to the individual's interpretation.
So- We would be fine with a rough grade in there, and just as long as. Look, we can go and leave it up. Okay. But I said. See it, that's those two types of things. So yeah, they're just asked to be, you know, bring that up to elevation, and then I was gonna have staff just. You know, do a final grade on it, and then we can seed it, or leave it gravel, whatever we decided to do there.
We won't be long.
Seems like we might need to redefine our RFP a little.
That's fine.
The
Well. Let's, so if we do that, put it back out, are we looking at another month to 6 weeks on this?
Yeah, you also may have some bidders not rebid. So just throwing that out there. Not saying that we shouldn't reduce the cost of this as much as we can. Because I think that's the most critical thing is we spend as little as we can.
All for that. I'm all for that.
Yes, so.
So I would say sitting here as a citizen and business owner, probably the most smoothest transition for Bob is to go to the lowest bidder, whoever that may be. Are you open to recalculating? And this is XYZ what I want.
That is the other alternative, is to ask if they
And
remove
if
the
they-
water sewer termination.
Yeah, and if they tell Bob to pound sand, well, then you'd open the RFP.
So that's part of our bid,
Lucky you.
and
Oh,
we wanna do that one.
you know,
All right,
who is the lowest?
I'll put out an Amory.
That's fine, and just, you know, the professional piece of it is make a phone call, but if they don't like it.
Alright. Feel like
Well,
got the
you
right
got some more,
recommendation?
yeah, you got some more information, based on our discussion here tonight, Bob. I think, you make some more phone calls and come back to the board for a final recommendation, next week, right?
So what's,
I think you go to the low bidder and you ask if they'll take off the sewer and connection fees. And if they go for it, we go with that. If not, we'll have to,
Submit for rebid.
yeah, and maybe get some clarification from them on what they're gonna put up.
And are you guys hauling or not hauling?
No, I don't think we will.
Yeah.
They're-
Well, it sounds like the hauling part of it probably is going to be, with 100 yards, I don't know if that's gonna be very much in our best interest, but definitely the water and sewer is in our wheelhouse and we should be able to self-perform on that.
And we want clarification on the fencing. So those are the inquiries to make with the low bidder.
One other thing on this one, it says that on this one, it says done before any demolition. For the field one, so. We'll just say it, if it has to be, just coordinate, but make sure you know whether it's, as he says.
yeah, we'll probably get a brief on that this one.
Okay.
Everyone understands roles and responsibilities.
Any further discussion?
Does Bob understand what we're looking at here then? Is that we're gonna be going to the low bidder and asking the low bidder for his consideration of removing the water and sewer terminations?
Correct.
And the fencing,
Okay.
And clarification on fencing, yeah.
I have it.
Are you legally able to go backwards on who was in the price bracket going up?
I think I can. Let me send it to you.
Okay.
Just, I think as soon as the board takes action on it, I'll
Yeah,
be fine doing that, cause I'm.
love you, bye.
Bye.
thank you.
Alright, yeah, I got it.
Item C6, update from MSA. We have Chuck's.
Thank you.
Maybe it's below.
Chuck's,
There's
notes
nothing,
here.
he had nothing,
No
updates
requested
only,
action.
no action needed.
When are we, I know it's not on here, park concept will be updated for use then. Was that land for the park just changing?
So now what's happening is residential is getting worked on right now. Some of that's starting to push into the bottom side of that, so. So everything's gonna change. So
Okay.
we'll just wait just a little bit, get both sides of the conceptuals done. That now need to match up, and then once we have those done, then that should be a static document. So
What's the timeline gonna be on that once we give you that static document? Is that gonna be like one of the first things that we execute, getting that park in there? Or is that gonna be
no.
down the road 5-10 years?
No, I wouldn't say 10, but we have a lot. I mean, we're at 40,000 feet in the air right now. And then it's determining, where exactly those molecules are gonna go. And then I think the one thing that we're gonna take a deep look at is the overall cost. And, it's a big ticket items, so maybe phasing some of these items in. I wouldn't say don't do anything like cheap, because you'll never.
Redo it.
You'll
We'll never redo it, it'll stay.
I think that's something to take into consideration. But yeah, I think once we get some finality on the concepts, which probably not gonna happen until land commission gives a thumb up on some of these things. So could be a little bit, but I don't think we're at any sense of urgency. And I really don't wanna bring in a group of people and say, this is what our park's gonna look like. It doesn't look anything like that.
And then everyone gets mad, people change.
Yeah, we wanna make sure we know is
We want good
what the
information.
boundaries of the park are gonna be before we start having open public meetings.
Yeah. Well, I know we were kind of pushing to have some open public meetings, but I will say that I know the only part. Agree with everything you said there, Rob. The only other thing that I don't agree with is the fields. So there is a little bit of a rush to try and get
Oh, no, yeah,
the field, at least some.
I'm thinking like in 2 years.
Oh, perfect. So
No, I'm not thinking 7 or 10.
perfect. Cause I got people on me, I got fields, Bob. You got people on me. Some fields, yeah.
Very important.
I'd like for our kids to play on them, yeah, it'd be great.
I mean,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
There is a
Second.
motion to adjourn.
alright,
Is there a second?
I'll second. No,
Is there? any
That was
further
second.
discussion?
I.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, we are